the loan modification is going to be approved. We don't even know if the payment they're going to give you is going to be good enough for you, okay? We make absolutely no guarantees, but we are going to work to make that trial modification happen. If it does happen, you deserve to be paid because you don't work for free. Basically, it's a whole harmless agreement saying we don't make any guarantees if the property goes to trustee sale because you stop making your payments. That is not our fault. And I'm going to give you an example of this. I'm going to give you an example that is going to open your eyes to that reality. We had somebody, I don't remember, somebody in my office had a person that she was door knocking for to do a short sale and such. The guy, for 4 months, she didn't want to do it. He was in denial or whatever. Now, the guy comes on a Friday. Listen to this carefully. The guy comes on a Friday, and the trustee sale date is scheduled for Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. Monday at 10. Can I stop a trustee sale on one day, within 1 day notice? Sometimes I can. Sometimes I can, as a matter of fact, okay? If you push it hard enough, you can get it through. You can stop the trustee sale within 1 day. Now, he comes on a Friday with all his paperwork. Now, he kept the paper we have given him, right? He comes to the office with all his paperwork, everything. And he says, I want you to stop the trustee sale. I want to short sell my property, and I want you to stop the trustee sale, right? I said, okay, let's do it. So I said, I don't make no promises, but we're going to try. I printed all the application and everything, and he signed all the documents and everything, and he gave me all the documentation, and we sent it over to the bank, and we follow up with the bank, and we were unable to stop the trustee sale. We were not able to stop it. Guy calls me at 1 o'clock on Monday. He says, did you know that my property is sold in trustee sale? He calls me. He's really agitated. I said, well, I'm sorry. I made no promises that we can stop it, but I'm sorry that it happened. And then the guy says, you know what? You took possession of my file. You agreed to help me stop the trustee sale. Now you're in big legal trouble. That's what he said to me. All right? And I said, okay. I said, if you are threatening me, you know, that you're going to talk to your attorney, because that's what he said. I'm going to talk to my attorney and you're in big legal trouble. I said, if you're threatening me to talk, that you're going to talk to your attorney, there's nothing more that I can say to you. Because everything you say can be used against you in a court of law, right? I said, there's nothing else I can say to you. And I said, that's it. Let's hang up. You want to talk to your attorney? Let your attorney talk to my attorney. Got no problem with that. The very next thing that I did, within the next 30 seconds, I went to my file cabinet. I grabbed all the forms in my file cabinet. I grabbed all the applications, and I made sure that I have all wet signatures in those disclosures. Yes? When that happened, I put the file back in the file cabinet, and I went back to work. Because I don't care. I am protected. I already gave fair notice. I told him, he signed, and etc., etc. Watch this. Guy shows up in my office. He showed up in my office at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He comes to my office, and my receptionist says, there's a guy out there, you know, the guy that was yelling at you this morning and this and that. I said, okay, that's fine. I grab my folder, put it into the arm. I go into the conference room, and I sit down with him. And I'm not saying anything. And I mean, I'm quiet as a tomb, okay? And he starts telling me, oh, you know, this is frustrating and this and this and that, and I'm just quiet. I didn't say anything. All I said is, I agree. I know how you feel. I agree. I know how you feel. That's all I said, right? And then he starts telling me, oh, my attorney, and I'm going to talk to my attorney, and we're going to sue the bank and this and that, and I'm just quiet. I agree. I understand. I understand how you feel. About 10 minutes or 15 minutes into the conversation, the guy starts cracking down, and he starts crying like a baby. And I mean crying with tears. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me and this and that. We stayed together for half an hour. And then he apologized to me. And he said, you know, I'm sorry that I yelled at you. You know, this is so stressful and this. I said, don't worry about it. It's okay. You know, that's fine. And he left, and I never seen him again. And I never heard back from his attorney either. But it doesn't matter. My point being is the following. You are in the business of real estate. And when I'm going to tell you the little story that I have to relate to. One day when I was in real estate, the very first year, the very first transaction that I had, I forgot to do a home inspection in the property. And I didn't realize that the property had a big hole in the roof. And I mean a big hole in the roof, right? This is the summer, right? So everything is okay. Winter comes, the first rain comes, and the guy is calling me frantic. The water is dripping in his bathroom like it was raining outside. I'm not kidding you, like dripping, like whole water, everything is wet, the carpet is wet, everything. The guy starts telling me, I'm gonna sue you, I'm gonna take you to court, my cousin is an attorney and this and that. I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks and a half. I am not kidding you. I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks and a half. And you laugh because you know it's true. I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks and a half. I got to my attorney, Amy, and I said, Amy, this and this happened. She said, okay, meet with me and let's talk about it. So I went to her. She checked my folder and she said, Ronnie, my recommendation is that you settle with this guy. Because if he takes you to court, he's going to win. He's going to win, basically. And so I went back to the guy, and let me tell you the short story, the short version of that. I ended up paying $6,000 for a $3,000 commission because I had to repair the entire roof, the bathroom, everything. We had to make the repairs, right? And he still wasn't happy, and he never gave me referrals, and he never talked to me back. Oh no, as a matter of fact, about 3 years later, he called me because his daughter wanted to sell her house. He called me. I don't know why, but he called me anyway. But the point being is this. I asked Amy. I said, Amy, I said, when I finished my conversation with Amy, I said, Amy, what can I do to stop people from suing me? And she started laughing like you wouldn't believe it. She's like, ha, 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 ha. She said, honey, there's nothing you can do to stop people from suing you. Anybody can sue you at any time for any reason. But the most important thing is that they don't win. That's the key. That's what she told me. The most important thing is that they don't win. Make sure you cross your T's, make sure you dot your I's, and you will never be in trouble. And since that moment, I have run my business by the book, and I never had any problem. And I'm not afraid of anybody because I do everything by the book. You understand what I'm saying? So that's that. So the whole harmless agreement. So use the disclosures attached to this package. Use them. Don't think like, oh, well, this doesn't make any sense. No, use them. And hopefully you will be protected. I cannot guarantee it, but hopefully if you use the disclosure, you will be more protected than what you are right now. Okay? The next one is by the HUD. And basically this one by the HUD says that no homeowner has to pay anything for somebody to help them do a loan modification or a loan restructure. There are free servicing companies out there, free counselors that can do it for free. But they all suck. Yes, but they all suck, to be honest with you. Most of these people are pencil pushers. Unfortunately, you know how many, they say in the conventions, I didn't go because I didn't have time, but the convention center, they were doing this thing where they were helping people submit the packages. They received 5,000 applications in 1 hour. In 1 hour, they received 5,000 applications. And those applications were put together in a matter of seconds. I'm not kidding you, a matter of seconds. They put the applications together and they send them to the bank. What are the chances, I go figure, what are the chances that without having a good system to do this, those applications are going to get approved? 99% of those are going to get declined. And the reason why is because they're either missing paperwork, the paperwork is wrong, the paperwork doesn't make sense, etc., etc. So basically, I don't believe in free counseling. To be honest with you, I don't believe in free counseling because unfortunately free counseling comes along with thousands and thousands of people trying to get that free counseling, and that doesn't give you any time whatsoever to do a good service. And that's what I believe, you see. All right, next one. California Civil Code, sections 2945 and 2945.11. This is the one that I told you is totally optional, but I talked to Amy, and Amy said if you want to use it, go ahead and use it. And if you use it on page number 3, they need to sign right here and right here, and they need to put the date because this is a 3-day, what do you call it, a notice of cancellation, 3-day right to cancel. And the 3-day right to cancel basically states that they have 3 days from the moment they sign your package to cancel the loan modification with you. And in order to cancel, they need to sign this paper and mail it to you over regular mail. It says, do not sign unless you want to cancel, because this paper is only for cancellation. So do not sign it unless you want to cancel. That's basically what it says. And then, of course, you have the entire presentation, which I already provided. So let's move forward. So that's the loan modification application package. Very simple, straightforward. Control H. You change all the terms. Next one, the HAMP loan application. The HAMP application. Now, when they started with HAMP HAFA, one of the goals that they had is that they wanted to standardize the system. They wanted to make sure that every bank has a standard system, and this is the standard form that they use. Some of you will see this form that doesn't say making home affordable on the top, but it's going to say Chase or Wells Fargo or Oakwood or IndyMac, but it's exactly the same form. You can use this form here because this is the standard form. In order to fill it up, it's pretty simple. You go here. This is a fillable field. This is an Adobe file that you can fill in the blanks. Basically, you fill in the blanks is what you do, and you can print it. You cannot save it, unfortunately, so the information will be deleted after you print it, but make sure that you print and make sure that it's right before you close it out. Otherwise, you will have to do it all over again from the beginning. You start by putting the loan ID number, which is the loan number. So you put, I'm just going to give you an example here. Put the number and then put the servicing company, and let's say it's Bank of America. You put it right there. And then the borrower's name, and I'm going to go through the form right there. Borrower's name, co-borrower's name, Social Security, date of birth, right there. That's why you need the date of birth. Home phone number with area code, cell phone number. And you know what the only difference between the loan modification request form, which is this one, we call it the RMA. You know what the only difference between the loan modification request form and the short sale request form is? The only difference is this right there. I want to keep my home or I want to sell my home. That's the only difference. As a matter of fact, you can have this form, and if they do decide to go ahead with the short sale, all you have to do is white out this one here and just check off that one there, or make them sign another one that says they want to sell their home. That is the only difference. The property is primary residence, second home, or investment. You need to check that off. The property is owner-occupied, renter-occupied, or vacant. Never put vacant. I already told you that before, so never put vacant, otherwise you're disqualified for the program. Next. Mailing address and the property address, if it's different than the mailing address. Is this property listed for sale, yes or no? If this is a loan modification, the answer will probably be no. If it's a short sale, the answer should be less. Yes, the answer should be less. Yes, sorry. The answer should be yes. Yes, it's... Okay. Date of the offer, if you have any offers. Have you received any offers on the property, yes or no? You can just answer yes or no. In most cases, it's going to be no. The agent's phone number. Is this a for sale by owner? By the way, good thing for you, for sale by owners cannot participate in these programs. They have to go through a real estate professional, which is really good news for you. Okay? Woohoo! That's what I said. Woohoo! Who pays the real estate bill on your property? I do, lender does, or is paid by the condo or HOA. In most cases, if you have an impound account, of course, the lender is paying for that. If you do not have an impound account, you are paying for that. And I can tell you this advice. If somebody doesn't have an impound account, and there's a lot of people that you will meet that right now they don't have an impound account. They got an 80-20 loan and they're paying their taxes and insurance at the end of the year. If they're not making their mortgage payment, they're not paying the property taxes. Okay, so don't forget to put the property taxes. This become a very, very important issue because they need to know, not so much for the loan modification, honestly, but for the short sale, they need to know whether or not they're behind on their current property taxes. And we're going to go into that as well. Condominiums and HOA, hazardous insurance, if you have a current policy, yes or no, and what is the policy name. If they have an impound account, the lender doesn't need that information because they already have it in the system because they're actually the ones paying for the insurance. If they don't have an impound account, they may need a copy of the insurance paperwork for that, if they don't have an impound account. Have you filed for bankruptcy, yes or no? Chapter 713, what is the filing date? What is the bankruptcy case number? And has the bankruptcy been discharged, yes or no? Here's a key for you. Most people say to me, well, you cannot apply for loan modification or short sale while you're doing bankruptcy. That is an urban legend. Yes, you can apply for short sale and loan modification while you're doing bankruptcy. Now, you will not be approved for loan modification or short sale if you are still in bankruptcy. And that's just that. The file will be in the system. You can have it up in the system, but they will not move forward with the package unless the bankruptcy has been dismissed already. So yes, the answer is yes, you can apply for a loan modification and short sale while you're still in bankruptcy. As a matter of fact, in most cases, I recommend they do that. Okay, additional liens or judgments against this property, lien holder's name, the balance, the contact number, and the loan number for any additional lien holders against the property. And that relates, of course, to second lien holders. Now, if the second lien holder is with the same bank, you do need the loan number. You probably don't need the contact name because it's the same bank and they have it within their system. But if it's a different bank, then you do need that information right there. Affidavit of hardship. As a matter of fact, the HAMP loan modification program does not require a hardship letter, but the negotiators are still asking for it, so I still put it in my package because I don't want to have anything missing that is going to stop me or prevent me from moving forward with the loan modification. So it says my household income has been reduced. You have 4 choices. My household income has been reduced. My monthly debt payments are excessive. My cash reserves are and liquid assets are down, and my expenses have increased. You can check 1 out of 4. You can check 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, or 4 out of 4, whatever applies. There's no wrong answer there. Okay, whatever you check is fine. And if you are attaching a hardship letter, you may want to check here, other, and put see attached hardship letter. You can do that. Okay, the financial sheet. Like I said, this financial sheet is actually smaller than the one that I use. And this one, the only difference between this one and mine is mine, the assets are on the left side, and this one, the assets are on the right side. Everything else is pretty much the same. Monthly household income, wages, overtime, child support, Social Security, any other income from pension, retirement, annuities, etc., tips, commissions, bonuses, self-employed income, rents received, unemployment income, food stamps, others, etc., etc. And assets, checking account, savings account, CDs, stocks and bonds, other assets on hand, etc., etc. You total the numbers at the bottom, and now we go to the expenses. First mortgage payment, second mortgage payment, insurance, property taxes. If they're impounded, again, you can put impound here and just put one amount. Credit cards, total amount. Remember I told you in my financial sheet I actually have 3 spaces for credit cards. They only have 1. So if they have 17 credit cards, you need to combine all the balances and all the payments into one. All right? Credit card payments, alimony and child support, rental expenses, HOA and condo fees, car payments, and then other. And other relates to utilities and food and groceries and car payments. The other, my sheet actually has a special field for that. Car payments, insurance and gasoline, utilities and groceries. Those 5 things. In here, you don't have them, so you have to write them by hand. Or not by hand, but you actually have to write it in here. So you say car payment, groceries, and then you say groceries and what's it called? Car payment, groceries, and utilities, etc. Utilities, etc. And you put the whole amount here, and let's say it's $1,200, and that's what you put. So you see, I mean, they don't even ask you to prove all these expenses. All they want you to do is disclose them, basically. All right, next. For the purpose of government monitoring, you need to put whether they're Hispanic, non-Hispanic, Asian, white, black, African American, etc., etc., etc. Face-to-face. Now, the completed by the interviewer. I actually let my negotiator sign this, but you can sign it if you want. If you really want to do it, you can sign it. But I let my negotiator do that. And then the signature lines, page number 3. That's the signature lines, and that's it. That's the entire application. It's very simple, straight to the point. Boom, 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 boom. That's it. You shouldn't have any questions regarding that. All right. I mean, you shouldn't, but if you do, then ask me. I'm not preventing you from asking me, okay? Okay, so this is what we got so far. We got the loan modification application package that you use from me, and the only reason I ask you to use mine is because there are some hold harmless agreements in there that you need to have. That's mainly the reason why, okay? You have the package that you need to provide them with, etc., etc. The HAMP application, you have that, the DOD frank, and the 4506. Sign all the pages, collect all the documents. Fill out the hardship letter if it hasn't been filled out yet, and the financial sheet. And then send these documents to your negotiator. Now, when I go over this thing here, send information to your negotiator. A lot of you guys want to do your own negotiation when it comes to loan modifications and short sales. And this is what I say. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. It's time consuming. It's really, really time consuming. Hire somebody to do the negotiation for you. I'm not promoting Rita. That's not what I'm here for. Find yourself your own negotiator to do your negotiations and your transactions. You know why? Because you are real estate licensees. Your business is bringing business in. That's your business. Your business is prospecting. Your business is not sitting up 4 hours in a row waiting for that negotiator to pick up the phone, because they do that. If you, any of you have done negotiation in the past, you call them in the bank and they say, please hold, and then they have the little music, the little cruise music that they put in, and they got that going on for 45 minutes at a time. And at the end of the 45 minutes, you're lucky if you actually get connected, because most times they hang up on you and you have to start all over again. Use a negotiator. Rita, for example, and Rita charges me $500 for the negotiation for short sales, and of course, like I said, $1,000 for the loan modification. Rita, for example, $500 for a short sale. When we do the short sale, we put it in the MLS, we ask the buyer's agent to pay $250. $250 to pay somebody for doing all this work I really don't want to do and I really don't have the time to do, that is nothing. That is nothing. Some of you are paying more for transaction coordinator than that. You know what I'm saying? So my advice to you is, and I know that I get some disagreements from time to time, but my advice for you is, you are the real estate agents, behave like real estate agents. You're not negotiators. That's not what you are. So don't spend 4 hours of your day negotiating. Well, this is important work. You know what is more important work? Prospecting. Prospecting is actually more important than actually negotiating. And that's just that, okay? I don't want to get anybody in anybody's toes. Huh? It's in one of the, you will get it in one of the pages. Yeah, it's at the beginning, I believe. Okay, next. Loan modifications, avoiding the pitfalls. Incorrect calculations for DTI. We're going to talk about that when we go over the calculator. Bank statements. Deposits and withdrawals are inconsistent with the hardship. Too large deposits and withdrawals. Bank statements, putting together the financial sheet, sheet is really simple. It's very simple. You go to the paycheck stubs. I have a rule of thumb for you guys if you want to write it down for paycheck stubs. You take the year to date. This is what we do in financing. You take the year to date and you divide it by the amount of months minus 1. Let me explain you so it makes sense. Let's say, for example, that I have a paycheck stub that says it's July 15. July 15. I take the year-to-date amount and I divide it by 6.5. July 15 is half a month, right? So 6.5. It's like June 15. And somebody asked me the question, but why do you take away 1 month? Well, try to run it with December 20 or December 15. You cannot divide it by 12.5 because there's no 12.5 months in a year. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to take away 1 month. So July 15 will be divided by 6.5. July, for example, July 21st will be divided by 6 3/4, 6.75. And then, of course, August 1st will be divided by 7 because 1 month before August. So the first is 1 month back. And then you have the first, usually people get paid on the 1st, the 7th, the 14th, the 21, and the end of the month. Okay, so you just divide it by 1/4, 1/2, and 0.75, 3/4. So that's the rule of thumb. If you have any questions regarding that, I know it seems a little bit confusing, but it's not. Just take the year to date and divide it by the month minus 1 plus the whatever percentage for the month. If you have any questions, send me an email and I'll explain it in more detail. Now, so that's how you get the income. That's how you calculate the income. The bank statements, you need to put how much money they have in the bank. But this is what I want you to do with the bank statements. Just look at them. Just briefly look at them. It's going to take you like 35 seconds to look at them. Look at the front page where it says total initial balance, total deposit, total withdrawals, and final balance. If you want to find somebody that is in hardship, I said it before, you will find initial balance $600, total additions $5,000, total withdrawal $6,000, final balance is going to be like $100 or something like that. I mean, that's for most people that are in hardship, that's what it is. If you see a statement that says initial balance $5,000, total deposits $10,000, that's $15,000, minus withdrawals $10,000, ending balance $5,000, that, why do you have a $5,000 balance at the end of the month? I mean, why, if you have a $5,000 balance at the end of the month, why you're not making your payment would be my question, right? So you have to be careful with that. The second thing that you have to be careful with, go to page number 2 and page number 3. and look for those NSFs, those non-sufficient funds. If you see those, you're okay. This is what I don't want you, this is what you have to be careful with. For example, I got somebody that I know that the person is in hardship. As a matter of fact, I understand that he's in hardship, and I understand the reason why. But this is what I found on his bank statement. It says Monday, El Pescador Restaurant, $34. Tuesday, El Torito Restaurant, $25. Friday, whatever it's called, the restaurant, $25. And in between those, Apple.com, $5 in iTunes. iTunes, $5. Honestly to God, guys, if you're in hardship, you're not eating in restaurants every day. You're not buying music from iTunes. You're not buying stuff or junk from Amazon. You know what I mean? If you're in hardship, you're not doing any of those stuff. So what I said to him, I said, you know what? This bank statement here is trash. I ripped it in front of him. I said, this is trash. I cannot use this. How am I to establish hardship for you by doing this? And I know the guy has hardship. You see what I mean? But why are you doing this? And like, oh, well, I don't. I said, you have to wait, and next month, you have to wait until your next cycle for your statements and bring me a statement that makes sense. Because this one here doesn't make any sense. Things like that, you have to be careful. So bank statements is going to be, it's going to be kind of like the most thing that is going to create a problem when you're doing a loan modification. Income and financial statement is not consistent with proof, taxes, or P&L. Well, that goes without saying. I mean, whatever you put as the income, it has to be documented. So if you put they receive $500 in rent, if they're renting part of the home or whatever, then you need to provide proof that they're renting the home, a lease agreement, a copy of the check from the tenant giving you the money. It goes without saying. Whatever income that you put in there, you have to document it. That's basically it. Incomplete packages. Incomplete packages will not make it. I said it so many times already, and I'm going to repeat it once again. If you send out an incomplete package, it's not going to happen. Don't waste your time. You see what I mean? Not getting documents requested in a timely manner. Okay, this one here is funny. This is what I call realtors' temper tantrums. Realtors' temper tantrums. And this is what I call it because it's between my wife and I. We have transactions. So, yes, loan modifications or short, so whatever that is. And then we receive an email from the negotiator, and the negotiator says, send me the bank statements for the month of April. And this is my wife right here. Oh my God, they're asking for the bank statement again. How many times do we have to send it? This is the fourth time I send it. You know what? No, I'm not doing it. I'm not sending it. No, I'm not sending the bank statement. I'm tired of this. I am absolutely tired of this. And I'm just listening to her, right? And I'm thinking, I said, Han, I understand how you feel. Okay, first of all, I understand how you feel. Okay? That's one of the words that I like the most. I understand how you feel. But I hope you do understand that if you don't send a bank statement, your file ain't moving anywhere, right? No, but I'm not sending it and this and that. I said, okay, don't worry about it. I'll take care of that, right? This is my recommendation for you guys, honestly. Go to Staples, get yourself a rolling file cabinet. They sell them really cheap, about $20 or something. Get yourself a rolling file cabinet and put it right here next to where you sit. And every file you have, you just put it in there. Don't even put a Staples or anything. Just put them in there. Because when the bank sends you a note that they want a new bank statement because they lost it or they're using their tactics, the distracting tactics that they use for that, all you have to do is pull that statement, scan it, and send it again if you don't have it in a file already, which I really don't keep any hard copies in the computer because they're asking for so many things. I just keep the original files. That's all you have to do. They will request bank statements. They will, after you send it, they will request 4506. For her ex-husband, the 4506T, we sent it like 9 times already. 9 times. And every time we send it, and we have confirmation that they received it. And every time we send it, they keep saying they didn't get it. 9 times, So I'm like, forget that. So anyways, but get yourself a file cabinet. Avoid temper tantrums because, believe me, if you don't send those documents, and actually, if you don't send them in a timely manner, because they only give you like 3 days to send them. They say, well, the cutoff is Wednesday at 2 o'clock. If I don't get them by Wednesday at 2 o'clock, you're kicked back to the beginning of the line again. And you have to reapply again. So avoid temper tantrums, all right? Okay, Why do so many people that got accepted for loan modification fail to continue after they have been approved? Doesn't make financial sense. Doesn't make financial sense. And I am going to do the calculator for you, but that process is going to take about 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and that's going to take us over the break that we have scheduled. So why don't we have Emerald coming over and doing the presentation so she can tell you the tools that you guys are already gotten with the company, all right? And then we're going to take an early break for lunch,